Hi there and welcome to another workout where we're rowing for fitness, or in my case, because I'm filming these at 7:30 in the morning, rowing to wake up. Now what makes these different to my other RowAlong workouts is a much longer warm up in order to ease our bodies into the workout itself, but also how I describe the intensity and how far we take the intensity is different to the performance programs. You'll see what I mean as we get into it, and hopefully you've done one of the other ones because I'm not going to waste your time talking about it here, all right? So today we're going to do a 12-minute workout and we're going to go through slightly different intensities, slightly different stroke rates, but it'll be just a nice 12-minute workout to give you a little bit of a kind of movement to your day, make sure that you feel that little bit fitter and stronger as you get through the day ahead. So we're going to get straight into that 9-minute warm-up, and before we can do that we have to set up our machine. And the two things I want you to look at are the foot stretchers and where your feet sit, and then the resistance. So as far as the foot stretchers are concerned, I want you to make sure that your feet aren't too high, okay? Because if your feet are high up, then you get quite constricted when it comes into coming forwards and you can't quite get into the positions, and that's where aches and pains and stiffness can come in from rowing. So ideally what you want is the foot strap to cover the balls of your feet. That's kind of the ballpark we're talking about here, which is often the bottom lace of your shoes. Certainly on my Pumas here, that's right across the bottom horizontal lace on my shoe, all right? So, and that will allow you to get forwards into a comfortable shins vertical position without it all feeling too tight and kind of as though you're being held back by the machine, which is what happens when your feet are too high. Next up, when it comes to resistance, I want you to start this warm up down at the minimum resistance you can get on whatever machine you're using. Just whack it down to the bottom, okay? So I'm on 1 on the Avaron. If I was on my Concept 2 using the Avaron app, I'd have the lever all the way down at the bottom. I want this to be a very easy, like almost zero force, obviously it's not zero force, warm up, just to make sure that your body is ready for what's coming up ahead, and then we'll all be good, okay? Because it's all about easing you into it. It's not about being all and like hitting the ground running. Okay, so let's get into this 9-minute warm-up, and we're going to start without even touching the handle. The first 30 seconds, we're just going to be rocking up and down the rail to open up our body, all right? So if you're ready to start the warm-up, let's get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So this is all I want you to do for 30 seconds is to roll into the front, to that kind of try and see how far you can get in terms of shins vertical as you roll forwards, and then roll backwards. And you don't have to worry about posture quite yet. We are in 15 seconds time, but just make sure you're not kind of slumped and all rolled back and a bit like Gollum, okay? So you're just rolling. Don't worry about speed here. You'll slow down as it comes through this warm-up. Just moving back and forwards just to get your body and your knees pumping. And next, we're gonna move on to holding the seat, okay? So what I want you to do is hold the seat and then sit up. So it's almost like you're sitting up against your hands. Now, it's a bit of a tough one because I don't want you to be like really kind of forcing yourself against your hands, because that's where discomfort sets in. But by holding onto the seat, you've got a way to kind of think, right, okay, I can feel straight against my arms here. Might not do much for you, but as long as you're still pumping up and down with your knees, then that's fine, all right? Next up, I want you to put your arms out in front of you and continue rolling up and down. So you're like a zombie, okay? And with your arms out in front of you, now that you've got this momentum, the kind of inertia, whatever you want to call the mass, that's the word I'm looking for, in front of you, as you roll into the front, you should find that naturally you have this little forwards tilt into the front of the machine. Okay? And that's what you want, is into the front to tilt slightly forwards as you get into the front of the machine. Next up, we're going to do some air rowing. So we're going to start pretending that we're rowing now, okay? So I want you to come into the front, arms straight, and then at the back of the stroke, that's when you pull, okay? So pull at the back. So you don't pull from the front, you pull from the back. But as being you're not holding onto a handle, that should be very easy to do. It's always when you pick up the handle that things start to fall apart, trust me. So arms straight, pull at the back. Just let your arms move, your shoulders are pumping through. Do one of these and then we're gonna pick up the handle. And let's just continue doing exactly what we were just doing, except now we're holding the handle. I don't want you to worry at all here about power or stroke rate or intensity or anything. All I want you to do is to rock into the front, keep your arms straight, and then connect your feet to the foot plates and feel, like try and get a feel for your feet connecting, like touch down to the foot plates. At the same time, you can feel the handle biting into the machine. So the best way I can describe it is biting. It's that point when the handle connects to the magnet or the flywheel or whatever you have in your machine. Or the water, I suppose the water thing's different because you can't adjust your resistance, so maybe I shouldn't talk about water rowers. Okay, one more stroke here, and now what we're going to do is for the next 2 minutes we're going to try and find our comfortable steady state. And don't worry, this can change as we get into the main workout, but what I want you to look for is a slightly higher intensity, one where your heart rate will start to increase a little bit. Your breathing rate will start to increase a little bit, but you can still hold a conversation with someone. But crucially, what you're looking for is a point where you suddenly go, oh, this now feels like exercise, but actually, I could do this for a long time. That's why it's called comfortable steady state. You're trying to find just a steady workout intensity that feels totally comfortable, that you can say, you know what, if I was to do this for the 12 minutes ahead, I'd be fine, but I also know I'd get a workout from it. I know that my heart rate would have increased, breathing rate would have increased. I mean, I don't want to sound terribly personal, but you should also be sweating by the end of today's workout, which incorporates a lot of this intensity. And so if you're not, then look at the amount of intensity you're putting in during the warm-up or during the comfortable steady state, and make sure you're not fooling yourself. Because the rowing machine is very easy to kind of do not much on. If you're just tickling it with bad technique, then yeah, you can be spending 12 minutes on the rowing machine, but they're not 12 quality minutes. And I'm not talking about being an Olympic rower. I'm just talking about putting in enough intensity to get your heart rate up and your breathing rate up, really. Okay, so in 2 more strokes time, we're going to break the stroke down into 2 sides. So I want you to have your legs straight here, and then rock with your back, pull in your arms, out with your arms, and rock forwards with your back again. Again, do this at whatever speed you feel controlled at and where your body is comfortable doing it. This swing of the back as you take up the initial tension of the machine, you want to make sure that you feel powerful and braced as you do so, because you don't want to hurt your back doing this. This is a natural part of rowing, but if you are all curled in, it could be uncomfortable, let's say. Let's roll into the front with straight arms and a forced tilt, and just push out with your legs very lightly. Again, you're really just connecting your feet to the foot plates here. Just connect and let that kind of tension be taken up while still holding a forwards tilt and arms straight. You should feel that power connect. Okay, next up, we're going to put one foot on the ground and then continue rowing with full strokes. Okay? So full strokes as we come through here with just one leg in, and that will help to open up your hips as you come into front for that shins vertical position. Let's take one more here. Change feet. I know I went a bit quiet for about 3 or 4 seconds, and it's because I realised I'm like 5 seconds behind my schedule for this warm-up. I apologise. That's okay. We can claw that back in the last 2 minutes, which are coming up. So again, one leg in. Try and still take those full strokes, and this should help your hips open up nicely when it comes to that forwards tilt. Make sure to only pull at the back. Take one more here, put both feet back in. And then let's just get back into that comfortable steady state until the end of this warm-up. So, kind of after doing those drills, the arms only and the legs only and then the single leg, your body might have opened up and eased off a tiny bit more so that you can get into a slightly better position here, and maybe you feel a little bit stronger, and you can now look down and go, oh, you know what, my comfortable steady state is actually 2 or 3 seconds faster than it was a few minutes ago when we were kind of trying to seek out what it was. And that's the thing about this. I mean, comfortable steady state pace, it's quite a woolly way to describe intensity. There's much clearer ways, like heart rate monitors or comparing it to your 2,000 meter time trial time. But I'm gonna guess that most people out there who are rowing this series have neither, okay? You don't have a heart rate monitor, and you've probably never rowed a 2,000 meter time trial in your life. So the best way then to describe it is just that intensity where heart rate feels like it's a little bit higher, but not too high. Breathing rate is up, but you can still hold the conversation, because that's the key. Because if you're breathing too hard, you can't talk to someone. And that's how you know you're working out too hard when it comes to this comfortable steady state. It's like I said in one of the other workouts, you should be able to talk but not sing, because with singing you need a lot more breath control. Okay, on that, we're done with the warm-up. So that's our warm-up done. What I want you to do is have a quick drink. Let's have a little wiggle of your backside just to release the pressure through your sit bones onto your glutes. Maybe stand up if you need to, just to make sure that you're nice and loose, ready for our main workout. And I'm going to quickly describe exactly what it is we're doing today. Okay then, so today's main workout is going to be 12 minutes long, and then we're going to do a 2-minute cool down and then some stretching on the end of it to make sure you've had a full total workout today in the rowing machine. The workout itself, well, it's going to be made up quite a lot of that comfortable steady state just to get that nice exercise feeling, but we're going to make it a little bit more interesting by adding in tiny little bits of stroke rate increases, don't worry, not too much, and tiny little bits of power increases just to get a little bit of a more of a feel for your body. This is really just designed to stop it being boring, all right? Otherwise, it'd just be a 12-minute straight row at comfortable steady state, which after a while would get a bit dull, even with my exciting chat. So, as far as the machine is concerned, you can leave your resistance down at minimum if you want. You'll still get a good workout out of it, or you can set your resistance now to somewhere where you know you're going to get a good kind of like, there we go, everything now feels a bit more connected, but you don't have to work too hard, okay? If you're like me on the Aviron, I can adjust the resistance from the handle as I go, so you can actually kind of adjust as you're rowing just to go, there we go, there's my sweet spot where I feel connected to the machine, but I don't feel like I'm having to heave against it, and that's what you never want to be doing in rowing. If you have to really heave against the stroke, it's too much. I'll stop talking, we'll start rowing. Is that okay with you? Good, right. So 12 minutes coming up. We're going to start off at that comfortable steady state at 20 strokes per minute, all right? So that's the only real thing I'm putting on here is that we want to do it at 20 strokes a minute. So if you're ready to get going, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're off. So if you have never rowed a prescribed stroke rate before, don't worry about it. There's a reason for it though, where if you can hold a specific stroke rate, then you have to have control over what you're doing in the rowing machine. But I'm not going to leave you hanging. The best thing to do is just watch me, okay? And you can see that I come in, I drive, and then I slowly recover. So drive for 1 second, and then recover for 2 seconds. And 1 stroke every 3 seconds is 20 strokes per minute. But it's all about flow here. I'm not saying I'm the best rower in the world, but I think when it comes to rhythm, the flow of the stroke, I'm comfortable to say you can follow me for that 1 stroke or 1 second, don't listen to me though, 1 second drive and 2 seconds recover. Because you want most of the rowing stroke to be recovery, okay? So if I was rowing for half an hour at this stroke rate, 20 minutes of it would just be recovery. Only 10 minutes of it will I actually be putting in power. Doesn't that sound good? So if you were to hold for 12 minutes, this intensity at 20 strokes a minute, you'd only be actually rowing or putting in power for 4 minutes. The other 8 would be here, recovering. Obviously, it's not quite as simple as that. But that's kind of what you want. You want power, and then you recover before the next stroke. Okay, so that's the rhythm. And really, that's the rhythm you're always looking for when you're rowing, is power, slower recovery. So even at 26 strokes a minute, I'm still looking for that rhythm. Once you get up to around about 30, if you're sprinting, it tends to be a bit more of a 1-to-1 ratio. But don't worry, we're not doing any sprinting today. I do like these pink shoes, but they're very creaky as I come forwards. I apologise if you can hear this little grrr like that as I come forwards. Okay, sorry, shut up about your shoes, John. Let's get back to rowing. In 3 strokes time, I want you to hold this stroke rate, but just push a little harder with your legs. All right? So push harder with your legs. And if you can keep your arms straight and a forwards tilt of your upper body, and then all that should really kind of feel for you is that the tension, the brace of your arms against the handle, and obviously that extra kind of sensation from your legs from pushing. That's really all that should feel different. It shouldn't feel suddenly like your stroke has transformed into something completely alien, because I don't want you're not pushing with all your might here. Okay, we're going to do this again towards the end, and so I want you to remember that all you're doing is pushing a little bit harder here, just to notice how your speed is increased from doing that. One more here, and let's go back to comfortable steady state, CSS. I don't think I'll ever actually use that abbreviation. Maybe on screen, but I think if I start to call it CSS, people will be like, am I coding a website or something? There's a niche comment for you. Right, and as we hit 5 minutes into this, we're going to do a stroke rate pyramid. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go in terms of my maths, but let's hope it's not too bad. But every 30 seconds, we are going to increase stroke rate, and then we're going to come back down again. So don't worry, we're only going to go up to 24. There's not much of a pyramid, but we'll go up to 24 strokes a minute, and then back down to 20 again. Then we might go up again. So I want you to increase, push a little bit harder with your legs here, just to take you up. So I totally missed the change there. Just to take you up to 22 strokes a minute. I was too busy talking about what we're doing that I forgot to actually do what I was talking about. So just slightly faster recovery here, along with a slightly harder push of the legs, should be all it's needed to take you up to 22 strokes a minute. And after this one, I want you to push a tiny bit harder again. Right? And then this should have taken you up to 24 strokes a minute, which is 1 stroke every 2.5 seconds. So you can kind of count. And if you hit every 5 and 0 on your timer, you should be rowing at 24 strokes a minute. Now we'll take 2 more here, then we're going to ease off, back down to 22 again. And don't worry if you are like 21, 23. I just want you really, this is just down to adding a little bit of difference to your stroke, so it's not just the metronomic comfortable steady state, that you're thinking about how your body is in control of the stroke you're doing. Okay, we'll take 1 more here, then we'll drop down to 20 again. Okay, so now we can go back to 1 stroke every 3 seconds, and hopefully this will then tighten up your stroke rate, because the 1 stroke every 3 seconds, as long as you're looking at your timer, you should be hitting 20 strokes a minute more often than not. And then in 2 strokes time, we're going to go back up, push that a little bit more to go up to 22 strokes a minute. You ready? So just an extra push. You'll feel, as you push a bit harder, the weight of your machine increase. That kind of feeling of resistance as you fight the air or the water or the magnet should feel a little bit heavier because of that extra power you're putting in. Take 2 more here, 1 more, and then we'll increase up to 24. I've got my times wrong. I'm kind of, see if I don't see those numbers, if I don't see the 5 and the 0, if it's like 4 and 9, my brain can't compute. I'm so used to rowing 24 strokes a minute on the 0 and the 5. My brain can't deal with not doing it. Okay, 1 more here. Then back down to 22 again. There we go. Just ease off that pressure from the legs. Because at these stroke rates, your drive speed kind of stays around about the same as you kind of fight against that increase in resistance. It's your recovery that increases in order to, or decreases in order to change stroke rate. 1 more here. Let's drop to 20 strokes a minute as we finish this pyramid. And then once we finish this 30-second chunk, we're going to go back to that 20 strokes a minute power, okay? Where I want you to hold 20 strokes a minute, but just push a little bit harder with your legs, or however hard you want to. We've only got 3 minutes left, I suppose, so here we go then. Push. We're just going to do this for a minute. Push. And this is where, especially at the low resistances, like the low, like here, like I said, I'm down at 3. If I don't hold my arms straight and a forwards tilt as I push the power in, I'll demonstrate now actually, I don't connect at all. Okay? My legs don't connect to my arms at all, and I go scooting to the back of the machine really quick. Totally lose power, but worse, I lose the workout that my body is getting. Keep pushing. Got 15 seconds to go. So if you don't connect your back and arms, you're losing so much of your body's potential to be working out. 1 more here. And then we'll drop back to that comfortable steady state for the next 2 minutes as we paddle home. So really find that intensity. This is your last 2 minutes of today's workout. Don't go too, like don't really back off, because we're about to do a cool down. So you want to make sure that you're still at that raised heart rate, slightly heavy breathing, comfortable, steady state for the full 2 minutes, all the way up to 12 minutes. Because, like I was saying in the last bit, and I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again and again, so I apologize. But rowing is sold as a great workout option because it's pretty much all over body workout. It's like 85% of your muscles you use. You don't use kind of pushing muscles, so add in some press-ups if you want to get that percentage up. And you also don't use any rotational muscles. I'll let you look into what ab exercise is best for you. I like plate twists, but holding a 10 kilogram weight plate and doing twists is also a one-way ticket to sore back. So I'll let you deal with that. But anyway, my point is that it's only an all-over body workout if you have those arms straight, forwards tilt, and push with your legs at the front of the stroke. If you miss your arms and back, it's a lot less than 85%, that's for sure. There we go, that's our 12 minutes done. That was quick today, wasn't it? Apart from me kind of questioning my own maths halfway through it, but that always happens. The more you do these, the more you'll realize that's going to happen. So have a quick wiggle of your backside again. Make sure you're happy. If you need a drink after that, then have a drink. This is why I'm flanneling, just to give you a second to get comfortable. And then we're going to get into a 2-minute cool down, and then we'll do some stretching afterwards, okay? So if you are ready to get into that cool down, let's get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I want you to basically pick up the speed you were just rowing at. Return to that just for like 20, 30 seconds. Your heart rate would have dropped probably quite considerably over the 30 seconds or so I was talking to you in between finishing the workout and then starting this cool down. So your body will already have started to ease off. So you just return up to that intensity, and now you can just ease off that push from the legs. Just ease back. And don't worry about stroke rate here. If you start to really slow down, like I'm kind of slowly dropping to 19 strokes a minute as I just ease back my body here. Oh. You want to make sure and still go through the motions here, still connect your muscles. Just push less and less from your feet. And really, what I'm hoping has come across today, even though I didn't overtly say it, is that the power when you're rowing isn't about pulling with your arms. Your power and speed and pace all comes from your legs at the front, from the push of your legs, and then how you connect your legs through your back and into your arms. It's all connected. Like when you come in and you push with your legs, like if you're going full force, it's like you load up your back like a spring with all that power, and then you push with the legs and you release that power through your back by swinging back, release, and then you finish the stroke by pulling in your arms. So if you think it's a pulling sport, try and change your opinion, because it's a pushing sport with your legs, all right? Okay then, so we're done with the cool down, done with all of the rowing today. I'm gonna go into a stretching session, and here's my PSA. This is how I stretch, okay? If you have specific ways that you stretch the muscles in your body, do that. If anything that I'm about to do, if you're following me, feels uncomfortable in a way that you're like, that's not right, don't do it. Just stop and find another way to stretch whatever that muscle is. I don't want you to do anything that isn't right for your body. This is just how I do the stretches, okay? They're common stretches, but they're how I do the stretches. In fact, actually, I'm gonna change and start doing my hamstrings by sitting on the floor rather than up on the machine, because I know that this isn't ideal for a lot of people. I should have thought about this before. So, sit on the ground. I'm close up to my machine so I don't fall off the end of the screen. Sit on the ground, legs out straight in front of you. I like to point my toes back towards me because this will help with a little bit of a sciatic nerve stretch, but you don't have to. But sit on the ground, try and have that good posture. Okay, you don't want to be curled and rolled. Kind of sit nice and straight. That's what the hands next to you are for. Okay, so remember we did that on the seat. This kind of helps with you to kind of sit up straight, but it's quite hard to be slumped down. If you get full connection with your arms, you kind of have to sit up here, and that's the whole point of that. Maybe I should have done that first. Anyway, so good posture, hands in the air, okay? And then I want you just to kind of tilt forwards. So, and actually, once I get to here, that's when I feel my hamstrings and my that sciatic nerve start to stretch. So hands in the air, and I get to here, and then I'll lower my arms and just kind of rest them on my shins. Now, if you're doing like a proper hamstring stretching session, then you do this a few times, and you would try to gradually ease your hands forwards while maintaining a good, powerful lower back and not kind of curling round in order to increase the stretch you get. But as part of a kind of post rowing stretch, I tend to just find that point of resistance, okay, which is, hang on, there, yeah, and then just hold, like rest my hands on my ankles. You're certainly not grabbing your ankles and pulling yourself forwards, or grabbing your toes and pulling yourself forwards. You want to let your body ease into that stretch. If you want greater flexibility from that, work into it. Don't just pull yourself forwards, because that is where injury lies. Oh, back on the machine. I can do this on the ground as well, but I'm not going to. Could do glutes next, okay? So I put one foot in between the foot plates. You find somewhere comfortable for you. Bring the other foot over so that my ankle sits in the crook of my knee. Pull that knee across my body. So I now have a straight line between my face, my knee, and my foot. Hold it in place with one arm so that I'm still holding that straight line. Grab onto the seat or the back of the machine in your case, if you can do that, and then just rotate round. It's not a huge rotation you'll have seen there, it's just like enough. And now I can feel this kind of radiating glow of a stretch coming out from my glutes. And I know I'm stretching it. If you're like, I don't feel anything here, mate, what are you on about? Then the rotation might be off, but more than likely, you're not actually keeping that straight line between your face, your knee, and your foot when it comes to your knee across your body. It's the knee across your body that's like the real key here. And then the rotation just adds in that kind of extra element that will properly stretch your glute, okay? Let's change feet. So I apologize, you can look at the back of my head. You can look at the little tuft I've got sticking out today, which I don't quite understand why that's happening. So same thing again, foot in the crook of your knee. Hold that knee in place, hold on to the back of your seat or whatever, and then rotate round. And then that's you in a nice position here for stretching off your glute. You should feel it here. Like I say, if you don't feel it, then just look at that that alignment of your foot, your knee, and your face, and just make sure you've got, like, you're not trying to pop your hip out of its socket by pulling your knee across your body, but just enough of tension that you'll feel that stretch down there in your glute. Right, so next up we're going to move on to quads, and I'm going to stand up for this one. You don't have to stand up, whoops. There is a sit-down version of this where basically you just lie on the ground and do exactly what I'm about to do, but I tend to stand up and I'll hold on to the monitor for stability here. Don't want anyone falling over, this is why I'm saying all this. And then flick up one foot and hold it against my backside. And let's see if I can just, see the reason I do this standing on one foot is to try and increase the stability in my ankles, which actually, even through the process of making these videos, has improved greatly just in a couple of videos down. The first one I was all over the place, almost fell into the machine, had to do a retake, but now that we're here, I'm starting to get that stability in the muscles, which is why I stand up to do this. But if you are likely to, I'm going to turn around to the other leg so you can see how far back I'm touching it. There we go. Yeah, if you are likely, if you don't have, oh, here he goes. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. If you don't have great stability, then I do recommend doing the lying on the floor one. I'll do that in one of the videos coming up. I don't want to do too many lying down on the ground in case I do pop off the screen. So I did hamstrings on the ground today. One of the next videos then I'll do quads while lying down. Might even move this machine out of the way first. Make it a bit simpler. Right, next we're going to do hip flexors. Actually, maybe I should have done that. Just move this machine out of the way, but hey, it's a good advert for the machine, isn't it? Having it here. So, hip flexors. Sorry, I'll shut up. We've got one knee on the ground. Now, I put my toes flat on the ground behind me. You don't have to. You can have yours pointing up. It's entirely up to you. But 90-degree angle at the back. Other foot in front of me, 90-degree angle in front. And what I'm going to do is send my body forwards, okay? I'm not curling my back. I'm not kind of looking down or whatever. I'm just sending my body forwards. So even if you don't want to stretch and just want to watch what I do for a second and then you can copy, please do. But if I just do that and I send my body forwards, what happens is that my front leg, the angle closes. The back leg, the angle opens with my knees and stuff. You know what I'm on about. And now I get a really good stretch here into my hip flexor. I can feel it now. Can I get a nice stretch? If you want to add more, put one hand up in the air and then just kind of bring it slightly back behind you, and then that will add a little, almost like a backwards kind of not force, I'm trying to think. Basically, just it improves the stretch. I won't try to describe how it happens, but if you do this, reach up and lean back, then you should improve that stretch into your hip flexors. Okay, so we'll change onto the other side. This might make it easier for you to see, it might make it harder for you to see, but hopefully I've described it enough that you know what I'm on about. So in this position with the 90 degrees either side, and then send your body forwards, okay? This looks quite good, doesn't it? But just send your body forwards. Open up the angle of your back leg and then one arm up. You can rest your other hand on your quad if you want, just for stability and things. Again, it's okay if I fell to the left, I'd fall into the machine, that would stop me. But if I fell that way, then thud, like a pancake. Well, pancake? Do pancakes thud? They don't really, they slap. I hope I'm past making slapping noises when I fall over. I'll tell you why I said that in a second once we stop this one. Once we move on to the forearm stretches or the shoulder stretches, I'll explain what I meant by that. Right, let's do forearms. Yeah. So, put your hands together in front of you. I'll try and even off my shoulders, but they still won't be even. Push your hands together in front of you, okay? So push, and then as you're pushing, bring them down in front of you so that they are now kind of in line with each other and parallel to the floor. And this should now be giving you a good stretch into your forearms, okay? So if I go to there, that's suddenly like that's the stretch into my forearms and my wrists. My fingers are getting a bit of a stretch too here because they're pushing against each other. I mean, you can kind of dozy-do back and forwards just to give them a little bit of, because you never know, your fingers might cramp up a little bit on the handle. Your wrists might be a little bit sore. Who knows? I mean, if this is you just on your rowing journey, it does take a few sessions for your body to kind of get used to what you're doing. You're doing something new. It's like people who have one rowing session, they do it for like 20 minutes and then they come off and go, oh, I'm not doing that again, my backside's sore. Of course it's sore. You've just been sitting down for 20 minutes doing something that your backside just isn't used to doing. The pressure of your sit bones squishing your glutes as you're rolling backwards and forwards, your body's like, oi son, what are you doing to me? And it kind of responds with a bit of like, let's not do that again. But then the next time you do it, it's less uncomfortable, more comfortable, however you want to say it. And the next time you do it, it's better still. All right, so that's kind of, and it's everything. It's like muscle development. Your body just gets used to this stuff and it's kind of better. But technique comes into that slightly, but I'll talk about that another day. So shoulders, hands straight in front of you, so you're pointing at me, hiya, and then bring it across your body. So for me, naturally, that's as far as it'll go. So I then use my other arm to pull it even further across my body. Not so much that I'm trying to force my shoulder to pop out of its socket here. That's not what we want to do, all right? But enough that you can start to feel that stretch into your shoulder. And if you want to do some added bonus value, you look to the side as well. Just be careful with this, because it's, even just doing it just then, I could feel my neck crack. But looking to the side while stretching to the other side can kind of help ease stuff off. Any discomfort at all when you move your neck though, just don't do it, okay? This is about shoulders. Don't try and do a compound stretch if you don't want to. Let's change arms, move on to the other side exactly the same. So across my body, loop the arm, pull across, get a bit of a stretch to the shoulder. And I'll quickly say what I was on about. So I used to be a big guy. I used to be nudging, 230 pounds, I think? Is that how you put it? It's like nudging almost 17 stone for people that talk that way. So I think it's 230 or 240. Can never do that maths. So I used to be a big guy, and through exercise and diet and stuff, I used to be skinny. I used to be a skinny squash player, stopped playing squash, got fat, and then through exercise and stuff, I'm kind of back to what I am now. But the slapping comment was actually one night I was kind of in bed and I rolled over, and it's like I could hear my stomach slap against the bed before the rest of me kind of rolled over, and that's when I went, oh, and my now wife, then girlfriend or fiance, whatever, same girl, don't worry. She commented, oh, I think I heard your stomach hit the bed before the rest of you there. Is it kind of like a joking thing? But that's when I kind of thought, oh, hang on, because Julie, my wife, is stunning blonde, athletic, gorgeous, and I'm like, I don't think she's going to want to hang around with me for that much longer. Are we done with shoulders? I'm trying to think, am I chatting away and we're all finished? Sorry, I think we are. You can do like it's opening of your chest as well, where you stand against a wall, so like this, and then if you rotate your body into it, or away from it, sorry, you'll open up your chest. You can do it in the air as well, just kind of put it out in front of you, other arm as well, so and just bring it behind, and that will open up your chest slightly. But if you do this against a wall, you kind of look away, then it will you'll add in that force. But I don't have a wall here, so, and I tend to, because I've got more exercise and stuff to come up, I'm not going to do that. You can do your triceps, which means bring one, so you're basically pointing your hand down your back, and then you use your other hand to kind of help your arm point up to the sky. Okay, so that will do your triceps. You can do that. I'm not going to go through these full ones because we're taking up a lot of time. And biceps, put your hands behind you as though you're flying. Yay, look at me, mom, I'm flying. And then rotate your thumbs outwards, but try and keep a good posture now. You know, like this, me. Good posture, thumbs outwards, and that will stretch the long head of your bicep. Okay, so you can just do both of them just as you're packing up or whatever, or whoever. Or even now, maybe you're doing it while I'm waffling at you. It's probably a good idea. We're done for this workout. So this is the 12-minute one done. Hopefully, I mean, there's little short ones. There's going to be slightly longer ones in this series, and you can just kind of look out. It's not like a series where you work from one and go all the way through to the end. I'm just giving little, kind of every day make a different length, a different structure to it, so that then you can come along and say, oh, today I only really feel like I can do a 15-minute row, and you kind of find and go, right, it's got 3 15-minute rows, I'll pick the one in the middle. That's the kind of thing, all right? So this isn't about a progression that will eventually get you super fit. Obviously, if you go from the 10-minute to the 12 to the 15 to the 18 to the 20 to the 25, 30, 35, 40, you are going to be getting fitter, okay, as you go through that. But it's also about just kind of saying, today I've only got time for this, or maybe you're going to do the same as me and you're going to be, see, I hope you are stretching through this. Maybe you're going to do the same as me and you're going to be waking up with your row, and so therefore you want to look at what you're going to do that day. Who knows how you do it? Let me know. Get in touch and say exactly how you're using these rows, whether you're enjoying them. I don't know whether people will enjoy them. Who knows about that either? So I'll move on because I don't want to end on a negative. Let's all be happy and stuff. Right, stop stretching now. You should be all done. Go about your day. Make sure and have a quick drink, have a shower, do whatever you need to do. Maybe have a little bit of food if this is the first exercise you've done. You know you need to eat, get some protein in you, and then hopefully you're ready for whatever's about to come ahead. So until the next row, I promise not to end quite as long on the next one. Until the next row, row well, be well, bye-bye.